excitement and action of a big race meeting. Well, it may not be the Melbourne Cup. Here, the bubbly is more likely to be frothy. The hats are really something out of the box, and the track is always fast. The Birdsville races, a big day out in the outback. The September Racing Carnival attracts some 5,000 amateur punters and professional partygoers. The races have made this remote Queensland town legendary. But what goes on in Birdsville for the other 364 days of the year? The revellers are gone as quickly as they came, leaving the tiny town with a population of 100 to conduct life as usual.
$5 might just win.
I'm broke, see? Nothing.
You can't be broke. Have a look at the other pocket. Oh, she's got money. Ask her.
Find her.
Yeah, you've got a bit more money. Put it in his pocket. Woo!
Well, it seems every day is a bit like race day here in Birdsville. This place thrives on tradition, so you can set your watch by the Friday night chook raffle.
If I win that chicken, it's yours.
This town is the real back of beyond, at the end of the road to nowhere. That nowhere is actually the extreme southwest corner of Queensland.
I don't think there's another little town in Australia where you can park your plane in front of the hotel, cross the road and go and have a drink at the pub.
Birdsville is one of the remotest and loneliest spots in the world. It's 532 kilometres south to the next pub, 200 kilometres north to the next petrol. And heading west, there's 405 kilometres of Simpson sand before you'll find a feed. Sandwiched between two deserts, the Simpson and Sturt Stony Desert, it's pretty dry in these parts, but never here at the world-famous Birdsville watering hole. Now, the walls of this 115-year-old pub are keeping silent about the scandal and the gossip, tall tales and home truths of years gone by. But this latest generation of players all have stories to tell, of isolation and tranquility, boom and bust, joy and sorrow. Just your basic elements for a ripping bestseller. It's an eclectic mix of newcomers and old-timers, new age and old school. But one thing is certain, you have to have a reason for being here and a deep sense of purpose. Creativity flows freely when your stage is Big Red, the highest sand dune in the Simpson Desert. Local nurse Kirsten Davis and town artist Wolfgang John are a dynamic husband and wife duo. Out here in the desert, magic happens, and nature's wand casts mysterious spells.
I met Kirsten when she was about 8. She lived not far away.
I used to sneak into his studio
and draw little hearts on my desk.
Right, I love you.
She had a real crush on me, you know.
I had a huge crush on him. Childhood crush.
We got together again when she was 20.
We found each other again out here in the desert.
We got married here, right here on this hill. Right here, on the spot. We had people from everywhere.
It's a very romantic life we have up here.
In the desert, magic really does happen, and flowers do grow in sand. Here, city girls cross the desert and their hearts are stolen forever.
It was a fairly normal sort of a day in Birdsville. It was the 23rd of June, actually, 95.
When I came across the desert with some friends.
Thought, God help us, you know, must be a story in this lot.
He was the best looking bloke in the pub.
It was just something special about her, right from the word go.
And I was going back to Adelaide in a day or so, but I ended up staying here for good.
We got married on the 25th of November last year, out in the desert, up on the Dingo Coast. We got married there, yeah. I'm a bit of a buffy sort of a bloke, and you don't go talking about things like that. But yeah, definitely my soulmate, yeah, no worries.
Well, it's official. Romance isn't just for the birds in Birdsville. The ghosts of the past are ever present in this historic outpost. The pioneers who settled here came with clear vision and great dreams. But they came not in search of gold or rich pastures. There were none, just sand, heat and dust. These stoic individuals made a real go of it against almost unthinkable odds. Their legacy of bravery and fortitude lives on, and their spirit is still shaping this town and our country today. Nowadays, the town is kept firing by 3 corporate cowboys. David Brooke is the mayor of Birdsville and owns one of the properties surrounding the town. Jeff Morton owns the other property bordering Birdsville. And Barry Gaffney keeps the town running with his petrol station, post office and trucking business. Four generations of Mortons now have lived on this land. They've nurtured it and cursed it, but they've always been seduced by the guiles of rose birth. This 126-year-old property is something to be proud of and boasts one of the finest views in Birdsville.
Well, here on our left is the Diamantina River. It flows down to Birdsville. Birdsville sort of, it really grew because it was the only natural crossing place of the Diamantina. Before Federation, it was a customs town. It had 20-odd policemen, 20-odd customs officers. There was 5 hotels, a cordial factory, matchbox factory. It was quite a thriving little town.
But that prosperity ended in 1901 with Federation. The abolition of the customs toll put a nail in the town's coffin, and the population plummeted from 300 to 30. The next boom was to come courtesy of the intrepid tourist charged with adventure and the thrill of conquering the desert, and they converge in their convoys. It's almost impossible to fathom what life was like out here before the automobile and the aeroplane, cut off for long periods by the great expanse. At least the mail arrives twice a week.
What do you got for me today? Oh, we've got a box
Pilot Jeff Cobden makes history with every drop-off, flying the longest mail air run in the world, with 28 stops over 2 days. This is it, the infamous Birdsville track. It was opened up in the 1860s as one of our most important stock routes. The track was unforgiving and hostile. Many a man and beast were swallowed up and claimed forever. And if you listen carefully, you can almost hear the cries of the cattle and the crack of the drover's whip. These are the modern-day sounds of the track. Today, the Newham kids are coming home for school holidays. Their cheeky songs a stark contrast to the track's sinister history.
Don't give me none of that bunky bunky. I want to hold your trunky trunky. Love you so much, I want to hold you so much. Look, Louise.
Home for just 2 weeks, then the kids will be on the track again for the 12-hour journey back to their Adelaide boarding school.
Take them straight in your room. Hi, Bob.
G'day, Joe. G'day, Kirsten. How are you?
Dr. Bob Balmain is in practice today.
How you going there?
That practice, covered by the Royal Flying Doctor Service, is bigger in size than the United Kingdom.
And did you settle down all right after you went into Charleville last time?
Starting life as a jackaroo, this amazing man reinvented himself to become a medico with a mission and wings.
The whole time I was working in the bush, I knew that medicine was not a popular profession in the bush, and I thought rather than sit around and complain about it, I should try and do something about it.
Is your jaw sore?
Just a little bit.
And when the doc flies out, the responsibility rests on remote area nurses, Kirsten Davis and Joe Laurie.
Does that hurt as I touch that?
Uh-huh.
I had an incident where I had to try and provide a life support as far as a nurse can go for a man, and the local mechanic was my right-hand man, and he somehow knew exactly what to do. So, I think we get divine instruction at times.
And while tarmacs and telephones, radios and road trains have made life easier, one thing will never change: mateship. Out here, it's the stuff that legends are made of. Just take David Brooke and Joey Harris.
Yeah, whether we can... Yeah, well, 45 years down the track, I guess I've learnt to take my finger out of my mouth. Got a bit better looking, perhaps. Joey's learnt to wear a hat, so and we're still going, so it's not too bad. Remember when you used to take all those cakes over the hospital that our mums used to make to give to the sisters, because the poor sisters, they were only by themselves working, and we'd take them over, but some of them didn't get there, did they?
Most of them didn't. We eat them halfway.
Well, this is one of the famous Birdsville waddy trees, supposed to be left over from the Ice Age, and also supposed to be one of the hardest woods in the world. I think it's a bit of a waste of time, really, because it doesn't provide much shade, cattle don't eat it, and it's not very good for firewood. But there you go, some people like it, the old Birdsville waddy tree. Well, this is what's locally known as the Dingo Caves, named by the school children many years ago. But as you can see, it doesn't offer much protection to any self-respecting dingo. But up on top of this hill, it's a rather spectacular view and one of the better lookouts in the Birdsville area for the tourists. Stop! This is the great Birdsville fraud, this is. The supposedly Burke and Wills carved tree. People come from all over the world to see this. And actually it was done in the early 1960s by a bloke called Les Mackay and his friend. If you come around the other side of the tree here, he decided that he would make the tree really world famous, and he blazed these couple of parts here, and he intended to come back another day and put Captain Cook on this one and Napoleon on this one, but he never got around to doing that, unfortunately. But it would have been just as authentic as the one on the other side.
Please thank your tour guide, Jeff Morton. It's true, a little bit of local knowledge is worth its weight in gold. Speaking of just that, let me introduce John Menzies.
Well, here's the kangaroo butter churn that came in the box, and definitely makes butter in 1 minute. Here we go.
John's a fast-talking eccentric with a passion for the past, a nostalgia nut who brings the bygone days back to life.
Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better best. than in the war. All the soldiers got round the furphy tank, having a drink of water, telling a few stories and a few lies. So that's how we get that good Australian saying, that's a furphy. Every time you take a step, you're planting the seed. Over here I've got an old winnower. This is what they used to take the grain off the crop before they had a harvester. Now this is a chain Hercules water pump, came out from England. When I push the horse gears round, you see the water come up the chain and it'll carry water up 40 foot. Here we go, watch that chain.
John's a bit of a treasure himself, and he certainly can talk. Talk underwater, as the saying goes. Well, that'd be bore water in these parts. They sank this bore in 1961, allowing soft, clean water to surge to the surface direct from the Great Artesian Basin.
He comes out of the ground, straight out of the bore out here, and he's near enough to boiling. She's very hot and very deep. She comes from a fair way down. She's about 4,500 feet.
Yeah, nip of Birdsville water.
Good as any.
Coming to town on a wing and a prayer, Sister Anne-Marie Jensen is the real flying nun who clocks up very different airtime to that of the TV version. Today, her passenger is Bishop William Morris, who only visits once a year. Flying at 4,500 feet, this holy team must feel closer to the heavens.
When I'm flying, there is a feeling of a God being present just when I see the vastness of the outback.
Faith in all forms is a vital focus out here. For Nell Brooke, she has a spiritual connection to Birdsville that can never be taken away.
I have 6 children. Our eldest son was killed in a helicopter accident here 2 years ago. The whole experience of the loss of a loved one in this town would show you that there is such a spiritual depth of people and rallying around and support that is very special. And it's the whole town that gets together. And then it's the whole town that gets together if there's something really wonderful to celebrate, like a baptism. And that's what makes Birdsville special.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us.
While some of the locals say prayers with the bishop and the sister, Don Rowlands camps out under a cathedral of stars.
I remember a guy asked me if I've lived here all my life, and I said, well, not yet, I haven't.
It's impossible to come here and not be touched by Birdsville. This is a unique community, inspired by isolation and fueled by freedom. A unified tapestry of life in the outback, a rich weave made up of love, tolerance, hardship, tragedy, triumphs. All the elements for a blockbuster novel.
In the heart of the country, where the Diamantina flows, Stony Plain meets the desert. When it rains, the flowers grow. Far away from all the fashions, away from traffic jams and strife. With the sun we rise each morning, we enjoy our simple life. Out here in this wild country,